Hey everybody, I'm Angus,
I'm Zach.
and welcome to our really late Best of 2018 list.
Mm-hmm.
We figured rather than doing this in a top 10 fashion that we've done in the past, though, we'd break it into awards categories and sort of do our personal Oscar picks kind of thing, plus a few additional categories. We just figured it would be more interesting to listen to that way. So I guess let's jump right into it. We're going to start off with a negative one and do our worst film of the year. The way we did this is each one of us picked 3 to 5 nominees for each category.
Mm-hmm.
So we'll just list you guys off our nominees, and then we'll each pick a winner for each thing. So worst film, the 3 that I picked were Day of the Dead Bloodline, Slender Man, and A Wrinkle in Time.
Okay. My 3 were Day of the Dead Bloodline, Winchester, and Sicario Day of the Soldado, or
Okay.
Soldado, whatever it's called now.
I think we have the same winner, though.
Yeah.
Day of the Dead Bloodline.
Day of the Dead Bloodline.
Was a piece of shit.
That movie was awful.
That was like sub-direct-to-video garbage.
Yeah.
It was the only movie this year that I didn't finish.
Really?
Everything else I watched this year I finished, even if I hated it, but that was the only one I genuinely... I sat through an hour of it and then just shut it off because it was ugly and annoying.
Oh my god, it was...
and terribly acted.
Disgusting looking. It's like, I hate that of all the Dead movies to kind of remake and redo, that this one has the most. Because there's been another remake, there's been a sequel, there's been a prequel, or I think the sequel was a prequel or something like that. It was, I don't know, I love the original Day of the Dead. Day of the Dead is my favorite zombie movie. It's my favorite George Romero movie. But what's come out of this is just trash. It's all trash. And like, this movie was awful.
Yep.
It was like, it's not even laughably bad. There was like one part at the beginning where I thought there was a scene where basically when the zombie outbreak first happens and a zombie goes into a woman's car and starts eating her, and then all of a sudden this blood starts spraying in like the windshield inside the car, and all of a sudden the zombie just kind of goes like smearing it on the windshield, and I thought that was kind of funny, like, oh, so it's gonna be like dumb bad, but no, it doesn't. It's just downhill from there. It's awful. It's nothing is enjoyable about the film. So yeah, the next category is Surprised It Didn't Suck Award. My 3 nominations are Overlord, Bumblebee, and House That Jack Built.
Okay.
And my choice is House That Jack Built.
Nice. I went with Tomb Raider, Bumblebee, and Overlord. And I'd go with Bumblebee because it's a Transformers movie. And it's the only one that's actually good.
Yeah.
I consider some of the other ones kind of fun, but this is the only one that's actually good.
Yeah, like this is it's nothing original by any means, but it's
just E.T. with a big robot.
Yeah, and and Iron Giant as well. But it's just a really, really good fun movie.
Yeah,
it's got a big heart.
Yeah, for sure.
But yeah, my pick for mine is The House of Jack Built. I was very worried going into this movie because I knew about all the controversy behind it and stuff like that, and I haven't seen much of Lars von Trier's stuff. I know he's very graphic. A lot of his stuff is very graphic, like in terms of Antichrist and stuff like that. So I was very, nervous and skeptical about going into this film, but I loved this film.
Yeah,
this movie was really, really good. I was surprised how it took a dark, like, comedy approach to it. There was lots of stuff that was actually genuinely funny.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of dark stuff in the film, a lot of disturbing stuff, but I was also surprised too. I thought it was going to be very excessive and just kind of brutal for the sake of being brutal.
Yeah,
but it worked in terms of the film, like what was happening in the film and stuff like that, and the story and stuff like that. So I wasn't really as shocked as I thought it would be. Everything that happened in the film happened for a reason, as messed up as it is.
Yeah,
but it was a very good film. I recommend it a lot, like highly.
Moving on. Best Animated Feature. The 3 nominees I went with were The Isle of Dogs, Into the Spider-Verse, and Incredibles 2.
My 3 as well.
Yeah, and my winner would be Isle of Dogs.
Mine too.
I know Spider-Man is the favorite, and I really liked Spider-Man.
It was
I really did. But Isle of Dogs is just more up my alley, because I really like Wes Anderson. I love stop-motion animation.
Mm-hmm.
The movie's absolutely gorgeous.
Oh, absolutely.
The score's great.
I love the story. It's
all the voice performances are great.
Yeah, and the animation is beautiful. I talked about it when we did our half of the year in review. Whatever, when we did that back in August or whatever. But yeah, like I love the film. It's beautifully animated, really funny, great voice cast. It's great. I loved it.
Same.
Best foreign film. My three are Cold War, Shoplifters, and Climax. My choice is Climax.
My three were Climax, The Night Comes for Us, and Transit. And I'd go with Transit as my personal winner. It's one of my favorite directors, so it's kind of immediately I'm biased towards it in that regard. I think Petzold is a genius. But I really liked the way this movie played out. It had one of my favorite endings of the whole year, and it really made me keep thinking about it. It was one of the few movies I saw this year where when it cut to black and credits started rolling, I sort of just sat there for a sec trying to take in what just happened, but in a good way.
Yeah. Climax is my number one for foreign film. This movie is a fucking experience. This movie, beautifully shot, beautifully acted. It's phenomenal. We got to see this at TIFF when it premiered at Midnight Madness, and it's so good. Like, I love how like the unbroken takes, and it's really how it's shot is really puts you in the headspace of what these characters are going through as well. It's really, really creatively done. I loved it, and it's nuts.
Our next category is underrated film of the year. For this one, I went with American Animals, Madeline's Madeline, and The House That Jack Built.
Okay. Yeah, for mine, I did Madeline's Madeline, The House That Jack Built, and Anna and the Apocalypse.
And my winner would be Madeline's Madeline for this.
Okay. Mine's Anna and the Apocalypse.
Yeah, I think Madeline's Madeline I'm going to mention it a couple more times in here for a warning. I think this is one of the weirdest movies that came out last year. It's not structured like a traditional film. It's very all over the place. It's very experimental in terms of how it's edited. So I can see why it wasn't able to find an audience. But I think for anyone willing to sit through it and deal with the kind of abrasive style that it has going on, there's a really, really well done movie with really strong performances and one of my favorite endings of the whole year. So,
Anna and the Apocalypse. It's a musical version of Shaun of the Dead. It's a zombie movie, takes place on Christmas, and it's high school students getting chased by zombies and stuff like that. But it's very much tonally like Shaun of the Dead as well. How it's very funny, but it's also very emotional at moments too.
Yeah,
it's
the music was great in that too.
The musical numbers were awesome, really fun, but like emotional as well. Like a lot of the stuff that happens in it like is sad as well. It doesn't end on a happy note. It's really, really, really good. And did it get a wide release?
I don't think so. I think it got a limited one. It played in a few cities.
Okay, because that one was really, really good.
Yeah.
Best visuals.
So we grouped cinematography, costume design, makeup, all that stuff into one category, and just did best visuals instead. So
mine is Cold War, Climax, and The Favorite.
Okay, I did Cold War, Roma, and Climax. And I'd say Climax was my personal favorite in terms of visuals.
Yeah, mine too.
Yeah. The way the camera just sort of floats around the frame in this movie is sort of unlike anything else, and it's a very Gaspar Noé thing, because Enter the Void did this a lot too.
And I love the use of unbroken takes.
Yeah, there's lots of long, like probably 15, 16-minute long takes at certain points in here that just pretty much swap from one character to the other as they're wandering back and forth, and there's the changes in colors and the way that everything is presented, even just the way like costumes and set design and stuff like that, and the way that the place they're in slowly starts to fall apart. And the movie's able to, in a very organized way, show a lot of chaos. Moving on, best script. We combined adapted screenplay and original screenplay into the same thing. So three that I went with were Bodied, If Beale Street Could Talk, and Thoroughbreds.
Okay, I did If Beale Street Could Talk, The Favorite, and First Reformed.
Okay, and I'd go with Thoroughbreds for this.
I go with The Favorite for mine.
Yeah, Thoroughbreds was, in my opinion, the funniest film last year. I think it was extremely tightly written. There wasn't a single unnecessary line or unnecessary scene in the film. Flows perfectly, so I think it deserves all the credit for that.
For The Favorite too. Like, I'm kind of, it's kind of the same thing for me. Like, it was incredibly funny, incredibly acted. Sorry, that's not script, but yeah, like the story is beautifully told and scripted and stuff like that. And it's beautiful. I love it. Best supporting actor. For this one, I had a hard time picking 3 movies, so I'm just gonna say my best one, and I'm gonna go with Widows for Daniel Kaluuya.
Okay.
Because I think in terms of a supporting role, his role was the most standout. He's such a intimidating villain, and his appearance is like his presence is haunting throughout the entire movie. I don't know. He's really, really, really good.
Yeah.
I haven't seen much of his other stuff. Like, I know he was in Get Out, and I saw the episode of Black Mirror he was on. But it's such a haunting performance he gives.
Yeah.
He really proved himself as a great actor in this movie.
Yeah. Well, I went with, besides him, I had Daniel Kaluuya in Widows as well. But then I also had Anton Yelchin in Thoroughbreds.
Okay, yeah.
And Hugh Grant in Paddington 2. As the villain.
Yeah.
I thought he was fantastic in that movie. But I personally would probably pick Daniel Kaluuya as well. I think he's the standout. He's super intimidating, just really well done role.
You're next, right? I'm next? Okay.
Oh, no, wait, yeah. Next category is Best Supporting Actress. The 3 that I went with were Mackenzie Davis in Tully, Mia Goth in Suspiria, and Rachel Weisz in The Favorite.
I did Emma Stone and Rachel Weisz in The Favorite, and I did Mia Goth in Suspiria.
Okay. And my personal winner would be Mackenzie Davis in Tully. I think that was like a movie stealing supporting performance. That's like the one that stands out this year where a supporting character was by far the best part of the movie. She's just so likable, like down to earth, and I just want to be friends with her.
Yeah. I completely forgot about her. I haven't seen the movie since we saw it in the theaters, but yeah, like she was really, really good in that film. My pick is Rachel Weisz in The Favorite.
Yeah.
I guess it's kind of easy to pick both of them, but I think in terms of the two of them, like Rachel Weisz had like very much more of a menacing presence throughout the entire movie, and I always love Rachel Weisz though. She's a phenomenal actress, and she's always great when she works with Yorgos Lanthimos.
Yeah.
Best actor. I chose Ethan Hawke in First Reformed, Bradley Cooper in Star is Born, and Christian Bale in Vice. My pick is Ethan Hawke in First Reformed.
I also went with Christian Bale in Vice, and then I had Joaquin Phoenix in You Were Never Really Here, and Matt Dillon in The House That Jack Built. And Matt Dillon is my personal winner. I think just he's such a weirdo in that movie. He totally embodied just being a psychopath in a way that few other people have done recently, and I've never really been a huge fan of Matt Dillon in any way. Like, he's been fine in a lot of stuff, but this is the first time I've seen him give a performance where I was like, wow, he's really good. Yeah. Like, I was really, really impressed with him in this.
I know, like, the movie gets always shit on all the time, but I thought he was one of the only really great parts about Crash.
Yeah.
Because I know, like, I know that movie's not that great, but he was really, really good in that movie. But yeah, Ethan Hawke for First Reformed, very sad performance. I didn't really see anything like that in terms of other films throughout the year that really affected me like his performance did in First Reformed. Really, really well done.
Best Actress. I went with Anya Taylor-Joy in Thoroughbreds, Helena Howard in Madeline's Madeline, and Lady Gaga in A Star Is Born.
I did Lady Gaga in A Star Is Born, Viola Davis in Widows, and Olivia Colman in The Favorite.
My personal winner would be Helena Howard in Madeline's Madeline. This is not just my favorite actress performance, this is my favorite performance, supporting or lead, in anything last year. I think she absolutely destroyed it. It's her first time ever being in a movie, which is incredible to me. But her ability in this movie to go from just these emotional outbursts to nothing, like she switches back and forth so quick, and she's supposed to play a character who obviously has an unspecified mental illness. The way that she totally just embodies that and owns it, and manages to make the character so relatable and likable. It was really impressive to me.
My pick is Olivia Colman for The Favorite. In terms of comparing her performance or her character to both Rachel Weisz and Emma Stone, she's very much more innocent and kind of isn't really aware of what's going on, but she's also very tragic. Olivia Colman really does do a great job of showing how sick and how ill she is getting throughout as the film progresses, but she's also very personable, I guess that's what I'm looking for. She's very she's just looking to have fun. She doesn't really care about being queen, but she's just because the opening scene is them racing ducks, and it's great, and but she gives a very strong performance. Next one is Best Ensemble. My picks are Widows, Climax, and The Favorite.
Okay. I went with Widows and The Favorite as well, and then my third one was Thoroughbreds.
Okay.
Personal winner would be Widows, if I had to pick one. To me, that was the strongest cast of the year. Although The Favorite was really close, I think Widows, just in terms of the sheer number of people in that movie, and every single person in it stands out. Viola Davis is great, Liam Neeson, great. We already mentioned Daniel Kaluuya.
Brian Taylor Henry.
Brian Tyree Henry. Yeah,
Brian
he was awesome too. Every single character in this, even if they're only in it for 5 minutes, it's a really good job.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, that's my pick as well. As much as I love The Favorite, Nick Holt was great in The Favorite, but yeah, the sheer numbers of Widows is phenomenal. But everybody gives a solid and memorable performance in the film. Everybody's really, really good.
Best Director. I went with Gaspar Noé for Climax, Steve McQueen for Widows, and Lynn Ramsey for You Were Never Really Here.
Ooh. I did Gaspar Noé for Climax, Barry Jenkins for If Beale Street Could Talk, and Bradley Cooper for Stars Born. Sorry, go ahead.
Personal winner would be Steve McQueen for Widows. I know people kind of rag on the movie because it's McQueen's weakest movie, or the least, I guess, dramatic one of his movies ever been.
It's still really good, though.
But yeah, this dude's stepping into a genre film for the first time ever, but it still very much feels like his film. It still very much has his touch to it. There's even a bit of emotional weight to it, even though it's just a simple heist film. Towards the end, it actually kind of moved me in a certain way, and I think it's just a really impressive feat that he was able to pull it off as well as he did.
So my pick is Bradley Cooper for A Star Is Born. I thought for directorial debut, it was a great job. Everything felt very genuine and authentic, in terms of the scope of the live concert scenes to backstage crushing pills and doing lines and stuff like that. It felt very gritty, rough, and very genuine, and it really worked well for the subject matter of the story. Funniest film of the year. My picks are The Favorite, Thoroughbreds, and Game Night.
I went with Thoroughbreds, Deadpool 2, and Blindspotting. My personal winner would be Thoroughbreds. I haven't laughed that much during a movie in a long time, and it's the only movie that I can even think of in general that's gotten funnier each time I've watched it rather than the other way, because usually jokes have less of an impact. This one I started noticing more jokes the more time I watched it, and some of them got funnier. I just think the movie's incredibly well written, and everything that comes out of the characters' mouths and that is so deadpan, but laugh out loud at the same time.
Yeah. My pick is The Favorite. I love Yorgos Lanthimos' style of dry comedy. It is just the driest comedy you can get, but it is beautifully done. I loved Killing of a Sacred Deer, and same style of comedy, and it just works perfectly, and I love it. And it's very awkward, but I don't know, it just works perfectly.
Best horror film is our second last category. For this one, I went with Suspiria, Hereditary, and Tigers Are Not Afraid.
I did Hereditary, Suspiria, and I don't know if it really counts, but House of Jack build.
Okay. Yeah. Personal winner would be Suspiria in this category. It wouldn't have been if I were to just pick this based on watching it once, but I watched it 3 times in total now. I've watched it twice since I first saw it. And this movie really grew on me. It's got a very creepy vibe. It's not the scariest film of the year in any way, but I think it's the most atmospheric film I saw last year. It just creates this really menacing, off kind of atmosphere throughout the entire thing, and the way all the characters act really adds to that.
My pick is Hereditary. We did a review on it near the beginning of the year. I saw it since then, and it still holds up. It is horrifying. And
see, that's if we were picking scariest film of the year, I'd probably go for that.
Oh yeah, I did really like Suspiria as well, but like, yeah, like Hereditary still gets under my skin. Like,
oh yeah,
it's super effective and super well done. I loved it. We are down to our final category, Best Picture,
the big one.
So for this one, we are doing 5.
Yeah, 5 each.
I guess starting at number 5 would be If Beale Street Could Talk, and then number 4 would be Blind Spotting. Number 3 is The Favorite, and number 2 is First Reformed, and number 1 is Mandy.
For me, I've got Minding the Gap, and then Tigers Are Not Afraid, and then Transit, and then Madeline's Madeline, and my favorite film of the year, surprising nobody, is Thoroughbreds, considering how much I've talked about it in multiple videos we've done on this channel already. I haven't stopped hyping this film up. I think, just like I said earlier, it's funniest thing I saw last year. It's by far my favorite one. It's one of the best things I've seen in a long time on a technical level. It's got one of the best narratives in terms of how it flows. 2 of my favorite lead performances in any movie recently. One of my favorite supporting performances recently. Like, just everything about this movie is great, and I can't wait to see what the director does next, and I can't wait to see what the actors who are in it do next.
My pick is for Mandy. Throughout the year, my favorite film was First Reformed, and I do objectively say that it is a better film, and it's probably the best film I saw last year. But Mandy, I love this film. It is from the visuals to the soundtrack to the sound effects to Nicolas Cage's crazy performance to the nuts plot to the crazy villains to the the Hellraiser biker gang. It's nuts, and I loved every single minute of it.
That bathroom scene, though.
That bathroom scene. Everything is like it is. I don't know how it's just I had so much fun watching this film. I saw this twice. I saw it twice in theaters. And
that's probably the most what the fuck film of last year.
I loved every second of it too. Yeah, like I throughout watching the film, like I don't think I've ever haven't experienced this in a long time where I was actually excited watching the movie, like the chainsaw battle, like when he pulls out the huge chainsaw. I remember being like, whoa, and just I loved it. It's so much fun. It is nuts, and I loved every second of it, and I loved being able to experience it in the theater as well. I think that was one of the big things too. And yeah, it's great. I can't recommend it enough. It's the most fun I had in the theater in a long time.
So that wraps it up. Those are our best films of the year. That wasn't all of them. You can check our Letterboxd. We both have lists for 2018 ranked. And you can check out our entire list of like all the movies we saw last year and that we liked, because there was a lot more than we mentioned on this list. But hopefully you enjoyed listening to this breakdown of our personal Oscars, I guess. Maybe we'll make it an annual thing. As long as we keep doing this. I'll leave our social media down below, and catch you on the next time.
Bye.